Good morning and welcome to another week. I am still trying to work out quite where I am. I feel as if I've got a tiny little overflow from the jab. I had my second jab yesterday, which was great. It was a bit of a story because I brought my jab forward. I went to Woking for it, actually, as you know, Woking. It was supposed to be in St Paul's. They closed it. They sent me to a mosque and the mosque didn't want me. So I thought I wasn't going to get my jab, but I was meeting a friend in Woking. We walked around Woking. There was a vaccine centre there. I told them my sob story and they let me go in. And they gave me the very last vial of vaccine they had there for the day. And so I did get vaccinated. So there you go. So that is good. And there is a nice bottle of wine behind me, those of you were looking carefully. So we did have a nice, sorry we weren't with you last Monday, we had a nice bank holiday Monday. And obviously I've had my birthday since then as well, so we've been busy. And this month is a special month for us, because of course we will have been going 52 weeks. So those of you, the founder members, will have been with us a year. So fantastic. Thank you very much for that. And it's been an amazing year. And on the back of that, I felt, well, why not have a special offer for those of you who have been here with me for a year? And that special offer is a prize draw. We're going to have a prize draw and the winner is going to win a bridge weekend for two. A bridge weekend for two. So hopefully that's an exciting thing. There's only one prize. It's for founder members, and you've got to play in one game of bridge this month. Well, obviously we're launching on BNB our little bridge games, and I think I will probably come up with a prize for a member who isn't a founder member. So we'll have one for a founder member and a smaller prize for the members as well, but that's exciting. So and we'll be doing the prize draw in July, the very first week of July, to see who's won it. We'll do that on the Monday there. We are actually having a holiday at the end of this this month. It was completely coincidental. My cousin invited all of the cousins to go and camp in Devon. Goodness knows we are hoping for good weather, because I think there's going to be about 50 people there. And it's just completely coincidental that it is the 53rd week, so it's the week after the year. And we're going on to Cornwall. Anyway, let's focus on bridge. That's enough about all sorts of things. What have we got today? We're talking about stopping roughs and the idea of switching to trumps and when it might be wrong to do it. Okay, a couple of people asking about buying BBO dollars if you're not used to it. If you are on the browser as usual, so when I play BBO, I play on a browser, and what I do is if I press on the shopping cart, I can buy BBO dollars for normal dollars. So $1 is $1. And as long as the price is $1 for $1, you are happy. That's exactly what it should be. If you are on an app and you press on the shopping cart, it will sometimes say something like £14 for $10 or $14 for $10. That's not right. Okay, so if you are in the app, so if you use an app for your BBO, okay, a browser is when you go on the internet and you search. So if you search for BBO on your browser, you can then log into BBO and you'll be in the normal site, as it were. Then you're not paying a fee to the app users. Okay, and that's the point. So if you buy it on an app, you're paying Apple something. Or if you buy it on, what's the other thing, on your tablet, again, you'll pay Google or Android something. So do bear that in mind, whether you're playing on BNB or you're playing on anything, okay? Yes, so clearly $40 should be about £29. Exactly, it's about 70p per dollar. Somehow, just reading a little thing there. The point is you're playing dollar for dollar. That's all you have to worry about, dollar for dollar. If your dollars are costing more than $1, you're in the wrong place. Okay, all right, and that's the most important thing. If it's pounds, it'll be about 70p. And then we will see our usual hand evaluation, and that's what we're going to start with here. So let's see if we've got that. There you go. A few of you on Friday will have seen that. Okay. So on the Friday seminars, we are moving on to dealing with overcalls, but we're looking at a few different aspects to them. We started with the negative double, and we will look at that a little bit more because a number of people have sent in questions actually with regard to, yes, but what if the overcall is at 2 spades or 3 clubs? So we'll look at the idea of the overcall being higher as well. But what we were looking to look at more pertinently on the Fridays was when the bidding gets uncomfortably high and how do we cope with that. However, here I want you to look at this hand with respect to responding. In fact, I can tell you what the auction might be. 1 diamond, 1 heart. I think 1 diamond, 1 heart, and you then have to choose what you're going to do. Okay, so that's to look at in a moment, and then we shall go to our seminar, I think. So let's go there now and see how we get on. So, stopping roughs. It's what we're dealing with on the topic, and to be honest, the simple thing is, if you want to try and stop your opponent's roughing, this is as defenders, I should say, so as a defender trying to stop declarer roughing. To stop roughs, the defence have to play trumps. There's no other way you can do it. If you never play trumps, declarer can choose to rough whenever he wants to. Okay, so this is a powerful defence. It really is, and it's something that we love doing. Experienced players will actually lead them. We're not talking about leading trumps so much, although I am, funnily enough, for our tip of the day, going to talk about that. Okay, but it's a powerful defence, and what tends to happen is you see shortage in dummy, and you think, let's switch to trumps. However, judgment is so important, okay, because you've got to consider the layout of the trump suit. Now, I just offhand, I think I can remember 2 or maybe 3 times, okay, 2 or 3 times when I've been playing on the teams on Wednesdays, and I've said to the audience, I've said, do you know, if I do this, I think they might lead a trump. And what I mean by that is if I pretend I'm trying to rough in dummy, a lot of players will automatically almost switch to trumps. And most of the times it's the right thing to do. But of course a declarer can take advantage. If my trumps are a bit ropey, I'd love the opponents to lead them for me because it helps me. So before you automatically switch to trumps, do consider the layout of the trump suit. And what I mean by that is if it is normal, if the bidding is normal, 1 spade, 3 spades, 4 spades or something like that, they've got a good trump fit. And if you've got a couple of trumps, leading trumps is not going to do any harm to your side. But there will be other times where you've got to be a little bit more careful, particularly if you're not sure that the opponent's going to get a rough after all. Okay, so that is the idea. I'm going to look at a couple of hands and we're going to see how that idea plays out. Okay, and we're going to compare the two. Now, obviously, because we're in the seminar, whatever we do on the first one, we'll probably do the opposite on the second one. But the key is to work out why we're doing it. So remember, we've got the green baize as the centre of the table. We're going to be sitting in the west seat. Let's see how the auction goes on this first hand. 1 spade from south. We cannot see south's hand, don't forget. Can't see south's hand. We pass with our 9 count. And north, although he has a mixed hand with 1 ace, 1 queen, 1 king and 1 jack, I think he's still worth a 2 diamond bid there with a 6 card suit. It's not the nicest 10 count, but with a 6 card suit it seems reasonable. So it goes a spade, 2 diamonds, 3 spades from south, a jump to 3 spades from south, and then 4 spades from north. Okay, east and west have passed, so we have passed and our partner has passed. So once again, 1 spade, 2 diamonds, 3 spades, 4 spades. And I'm going to tell you that although you might have chosen to lead something else, you have chosen to lead the ace of clubs, and that is how you are able to see dummy. Okay, so we've led the ace of clubs, which, to be honest, when I'm dealt an ace king, it's rare that I don't lead them. I've got to have a really, really solid and good reason for not leading them. So you've led the ace of clubs. Let's see what happens on that. Okay, so that's what happens on the ace of clubs. And generally what you're doing when you make a lead, when you see dummy, you look at it and think, okay, what's going to happen in the play? Okay. Well, one crucial element to your hand is your diamond holding, which suggests that even if declarer plays on diamonds, he's going to struggle to make them. Okay, which means you're going to struggle to make them. Okay, so what I want you to think about, what might declarer be planning? Okay, and what might you do about it? So have a think about that. Someone asking about whether you would lead a singleton or ace king. Again, often we would choose the ace and king, simply because we can then switch to a singleton if we need to. By leading the ace, you're telling your partner you've got the king. So that could be really valuable for the defence. Sometimes, for example, you can lead the ace of clubs. Your partner's got the queen jack. He can throw the queen underneath it. Okay, and then you know how to get to your partner's hand later. Okay, but that's another topic. So the ace of clubs has gone. What might declarer be planning? Okay, well, there is a chance that he can ruff a club. Now, this depends on the way you play. Some of you play ace for attitude, king for count. From my point of view, generally when there's a doubleton in dummy, it's very useful for your partner to give you count. Okay. So the key here is, let's say we think declarer might be going for a club ruff, and it is quite possible. Okay, if he does, we could switch to trumps. But what I want you to do is consider the trump suit. How do you think the trump suit will divide? In essence, are you going to compromise your partner's holding in trumps? I mean, that's the crucial thing. The thing to note is that because we've got the king of clubs, we are going to be cutting declarer off. Sorry, we will be able to stop him ruffing. We can lead a trump, win the king of clubs later, and then lead another trump. So we're in a position of power. So what you need to consider is, you know, how are the trumps dividing? Okay, and with that jump to 3 spades, it should promise 6 or more trumps. It really should. And so if the trumps are 6 and 2, your partner's only got 3 of them. It is possible that your partner's queen will be swallowed up, but notice that declarer could take a finesse if he wanted to. But also, if you manage to stop, is dummy south? No, dummy's at the top of the screen. It says dummy, okay? You know, and we can see dummy. Don't forget, dummy, you can always see declarer is south. Declarer is south. Okay, so here, I don't think it's too bad. And the point is, if you want to play trumps, do it now. Okay, if you want to play trumps, do it now. That's really important. Okay, somebody asking about ace leads against no trumps, completely different against no trumps. Good point there, very different. Okay, in no trumps you need 3 high cards to lead. Okay, so ace of clubs is led, and what we're going to do is switch to trumps. Okay, here with declarer having long trumps, there's no need to force. You're not going to be able to really stop declarer making all his trumps. So declarer wins the king of spades. He tries the queen of clubs. Okay, notice your partner's played high-low, which would suggest about 4 clubs, and therefore does mean that south will probably have 3. But our king wins, and we can lead another trump. Okay, and that draws the last trump in dummy. Okay, it's a relatively straightforward hand hand. So let's look at the full hand there. So we've drawn the last trump. You can see the south hand there. It's borderline, but with 15 points and a very solid 6-card spade suit, I think bidding 3 spades is reasonable. So you open 1 spade, 2 diamonds, jump to 3 spades. I think 4 spades is a perfectly reasonable contract. But there are only 9 tricks, and declarer would need to ruff a club to make his 10th. So if you play the ace of king of clubs and play a spade, south can win the spade and a rougher club with the king, and clearly his trumps are all high there afterwards. So you're looking at a comfortable 10 tricks if he can rough a club. If he cannot rough a club, clearly he is going to lose 3 clubs, and that's the crucial element here. Can you see? He'll lose a diamond, but he'll lose 3 clubs. Okay, and so what we felt was that the trumps were, there was at least 8 between north and south. Because I've got 2, I only expected partner to have 3, so I'm not doing him any harm. I'm going to make a trump lead, a trump switch seems reasonable, and I hope a lot of you will have found a trump switch there. What's difficult is where a trump switch looks right when it isn't right. So let's try and look at that. Now remember, unfortunately, as I say, it is a seminar, so we know that we're not going to be switching to trumps here, but what I want to do is work out why. We're going to work out why. So here it's again, we're going to be sitting in the west seat. So we're in the west seat, and south is going to be the opening bidder, north the responder. So south opens 1 spade. Okay, we're borderline. I suppose you've got a 10 count there, but without a singleton. With 10 points and a singleton, I suppose you might stretch to a takeout double. With 10 points and just a flat hand, remember it is a balanced hand. There was no reason for doubling on the first round because you should be showing opening strength. So we pass. North bids 1 no trump. Got nothing really to bid there. 6 to 9 points, nowhere near enough strength to bid 2 diamonds. South now jumps to 3 hearts. Now that's a strong bid. Should be around a very good 17, I suppose, but closer for me to 18 really, 18, 19 points. Okay. North generally goes back to the first suit when he's feeling not excited. So he bids 3 spades, and south bids 4 spades. So it's got a spade, a no trump, jump to 3 hearts, 3 spades, 4 spades. So south has done most of the bidding by himself. That's why we think he's got at least 18, probably 19 points, because north's had no choice in the matter. I've given north 7 points, but he could have had 6 equally. And as you're going to see, the queen and jack of clubs aren't going to come in very handy as either. Okay. So the auction we've had, it's your lead, and again I can't see any reason not to lead the ace of clubs here. Okay. And the first trick goes like that. So what you've got to do is think about what declarer might be planning, and you've then got to work out what you're going to do about it. So, first of all, we've got to work out what shape declarer might be. What shape might he be? Well, on the auction, really, he's only promised 5 and 4. He could be 5 and 5, of course. Could be 5 and 5. With 5 and 5, he might have then bid 4 hearts to make sure they find the best fit. Now, he may have 3 clubs. That's the first thing. He may have 3 clubs. But we know he's not got many cards in the minors. Okay. And then you've got to decide how the trump suit is. Okay. So, declarer has at least 9 cards in the majors. And the key element here is partner may have 4 trumps. Now, of course, declarer might have the ace, king, queen, jack of trumps. But if your partner's got one of those cards, then by leading them, you're compromising your partner's holding. And that's the crucial element here. Notice north has not, declarer hasn't got many entries to dummy, so it's all well and good thinking, oh yeah, but he can go and take a finesse. Well, you know, he's probably only going to be able to take 1 finesse. Whereas if you lead a trump, if declarer needs to finesse, he can finesse and then cross over and finesse again. That's if your partner doesn't put his high trump up. So for me, I'm a little bit worried here. Now, if I am completely sure that declarer can ruff a club, if I am completely sure that declarer can ruff a club, then I might still switch to trumps because partner might have just 4 to the 10. Does that make sense? So if I guess if there was a singleton originally, if I'd led the ace of clubs and there was a singleton, I might think, gosh, my goodness, I need to cut trumps down. But here, as we've discussed, declarer South has shown a lot of cards in the majors, so there's no reason necessarily to think that he can ruff. Now, Alan's made a good point, which is what I'm trying to say. This is slightly more advanced ideas, but when I lead a top club, so the ace, some of you play king for cap, but for me I'd probably lead ace anyway, even if I had that system. But when a doubleton comes in dummy, what I'll often need to know from my partner is how many he's got. Now, if you can remember from the first trick we just had, partner I think played the 2, and so partner's got an odd number of clubs if that is the way you play, in which case I'm thinking the clubs break 5 and 4 our way and 2 and 2. So I would say that because a lot of the time South won't be able to ruff a club, and even when he can or needs to ruff a club, I may well be giving a trick away by switching to trumps. So important this, because we get trained to switch to trumps. So as we get better, and it is a really powerful play, so I don't want to put you off doing it, but too often I will see people falling into a trap where, for example, another thing is, imagine North held the ace, king, queen to 6 diamonds there. If North had the ace, king, queen to 6 diamonds, okay, well then you're thinking to yourself, declarer's plan is to make all of those diamonds, so declarer's plan is to draw trumps. So we would not want to help him. Does that mean, even if he can ruff something in dummy, if he had ace, king, queen to 6 diamonds, we'd be thinking, well, he's going to make lots of diamonds, so we actually don't want to draw trumps. We want to sort of confuse the issue. Does that make sense? And we'd take our clubs and do something else. Okay. So there are going to be times where there's a balance. So imagine if I thought South had 6 spades on this hand, I might still switch to trumps. But as someone is saying, you know, sometimes if they've got an 8 card fit, you can still compromise partners holding. You know, and you've got to bear that, but that swings and roundabouts. But if you know they've only got a 5-2 fit, which most of the time they will have here, you know that a lot of the time you will be compromising your partner's holding. So here, the point being, if partner's got jack to 4, which I think he has on this hand, well then declarer won't be taking a finesse. So it's not just as if, so if your partner had the king to 4, declarer would probably be taking a finesse a few times, etc., or queen to 4, because it would be the natural thing to do. But if declarer has got ace, king, queen to 5 spades, he's going to be leading his ace, king out, you know, hoping something falls. So this is a really serious situation, and I see it a lot where good defenders, and I mean, you know, good club players will switch to trumps at the wrong time, because although they know they need to switch to trumps, they are not considering that declarer's trumps might not be as good as they would be on other hands. Okay, so I'm going to play the king of clubs, and that takes my 2 tricks. Now I've got to work out what to lead. Is there a safe lead at this point? So what do you think? What do you think? And so this is tricky because it seems a bit odd leading, shall we say, dummies strong suit or long suit, but actually I think diamonds is the safe lead. Now it turns out on the hand a heart would work out okay, but declarer could easily on a bad day have ace, king, queen, 10, because he's bid hearts, so it's not, and he's got some strength somewhere. He hasn't got any strength in clubs. So a heart is dangerous, absolutely. A spade we've decided is dangerous. Even if declarer has king, jack, doubleton in diamonds, you're not actually giving a trick away by leading the 10 of diamonds, because if South wins the jack and then plays the king, he can't get to dummy. You know, remember, if he's got king, jack, doubleton, he's only got 2 clubs and those have gone, so it's not as if he can ruff a club. We decided he only had 4 cards in the minors at maximum. Well, he's had 2 clubs already. So if he's got 2 diamonds, you know, he hasn't got another club. Okay, so 10 of diamonds is our only sensible switch. Okay. So let's look at the full hand and let's clarify the situation. It looks like a relatively normal auction to me. You know, South is clearly looking at a gorgeous hand. He's got 19 points with 2 very nice suits. So he opens his spade, gets a no trump back from partner, and he jumps to 3 hearts. North does the right thing going back to spades, and we finish in 4 spades. And as I say, a lot of people would switch to trumps here. So they might even, you know, cash the ace of clubs and switch to a trump. And that's the end. That gives Declarer the chance to make. The way we've defended, Declarer is probably only going to make 8 tricks. Okay. All right. But a trump switch will give Declarer a chance. And the reason is because you're sitting with too many goodies. I'm afraid it could be nasty for you, as it were. Because you're sitting with so many lovely cards. So Declarer might be able to scrape home by squeezing you, because you've got all of the I mean, you'll be all right in you'll be all right to start with. On the first 4 rounds of trumps, you can discard 2 clubs, but after that you may struggle. You may have to choose between a diamond or a heart, and clearly if you throw a heart, that's not very nice for you, because clearly Declarer will make his 4 hearts. If you throw a diamond, in theory, Declarer might be able to make the diamonds, because you'll have 2 and 2. So I'm not saying Declarer necessarily will make if you switch to a spade, but he'll certainly make 9 tricks, because he'll make all of his trumps. And it's not that much of a surprise. I mean, yes, Declarer will have ace, king, queen, jack to 5 sometimes. He could have 6. So, I mean, if I had ace, king to 6, ace, king, queen to 6, and ace, king, queen to 4, I probably would rebid the hearts, jump to 3 hearts first. And that's one of the reasons, of course, we give preference to the first suit. Okay, so sometimes the suit will have broken 6, 3, 2, 2, but the key here is, I think a lot of the time your partner will have 4 trumps, and he could have better ones than 4 to the jack. He might have 4 to the queen jack. Your lead goes to the jack and ace, and Declarer could then switch, cross over to the ace of diamonds and take another finesse. And what a disaster that would be. I think if you lead the ace and king of clubs and switch to diamonds, you may well get Declarer 2 off. You may well get Declarer 2 off, and that is nice. So I do want you to switch to trumps a lot, and we're going to talk about that with the tip of the day in a moment. So I do want you to be doing that, but I also want you to consider the situation where you think the trumps might not be so easy for Declarer, particularly when they haven't agreed a suit. Okay, but also, of course, when you've got a singleton. So if you've got a singleton and you think they've got an 8-card fit, again, your partner's sitting with 4. And again, you may compromise his holding. So bear that in mind. So the only time I'll switch to a trump when I think the suit might be my lead might compromise my partner is when I am certain they need to off. So I imagine a good way of looking at it is, imagine North was short in hearts. If North was short in hearts, well then of course the situation becomes crucial, because you know that South is long and may well want to rough hearts. So that's slightly different. You know, there's a situation where you know that Declarer is going to want to rough a suit. Okay. All right. So that's the little topic of the day. Let's come back. We'll come back to the tip, which again, as usual, is on a similar theme, but trying to make it slightly more simple, shall we say. So what are we going on to now? I think we're going to look back at that hand evaluation. So let's go to that. So, in many ways, I hope it's a relatively straightforward idea. For me, this South hand, is worth about 10 points. you know, so you've got 2 10s and you've got a good club suit. So my evaluation of it is much closer to 10 than 9. I mean, I would feel it's worth 10, to be honest. I don't think it's 9.8 or something. I would call this 10. I would. So even without the bidding that we're going to see, I would be bidding 2 clubs. But and what I want you to understand is that when the bidding goes 1 diamond, 1 heart, I want you to keep your rigid rules there about the 2 level. So I don't want you thinking, well, I've got 9, I'll bid 2 clubs. I want you saying, I've got 10, so I'm going to bid 2 clubs. Because otherwise you're just allowing East to completely change your system. If you take the 2 10s away there, then really the hand is middle range 9s, and you'd probably be best doubling. I mean, no, you can't double because you haven't got 4 spades. Ooh, wow, it's borderline. It's really borderline, but you'd have to discuss it with your partner. I have to say, probably with 9 points and not 4 spades, I'd still probably bid 2 clubs, even if I took the 2 10s away, because I have got a 5-card suit after all. 9 points and a 4-card suit, I'm not bidding 2 clubs. But here, I believe my hand is worth 10 points, so I am gonna bid 2 clubs. Okay. Okay, my partner's jumped to 3 no trumps, and he will be basing that on the back of me, excuse me, of me holding. Let's have a look at the whole hand here. Of me holding 10 points, and there you go. Your partner's got 15, so you could bid 2 no trumps, and you know that should be a forcing bid, but he's decided probably because of the quality of his hearts. Actually, the quality of his heart suit is such that it's not unreasonable to feel that you've got a double stopper. That won't always be a double stopper if West can get the lead enough. But bear in mind that if you've bid to a game and East has bid himself, the chances of West having 2 leads. So I guess on a bad day, West could be dealt the King Jack of spades, and in which case, if East chooses to lead a spade, West could get the lead, switch to hearts, then another spade, and switch to hearts. But that's going to be pretty ugly. Okay, here I don't mind a spade lead from East. It's not the worst lead. South would put. I mean, we can just do that. I'll just. You know, I probably would choose a heart because, of course, if partner had... It's interesting that West didn't bid 2 hearts. Do you know I probably would have done? How many of you would have bid 2 hearts with that West hand? They're not bidding spades, tends to get in the way. But then again, of course, it will persuade partner to lead hearts. So it works both. Well, interesting. Without the heart support, you might choose to lead a spade. So let's do that. South should play the 10 here, okay? Okay, so bids 10 there, and then of course that's enough. That's, you know, West only gets the lead once now. And of course he'll switch to hearts, okay? But we can play the king. East is probably best to duck that, hoping his partner will get the lead again. But of course it's no surprise that East is sitting with the clubs, okay? Jack of diamonds, remember, North open diamonds. Anybody thinking leave the Jack of diamonds there, you're probably going to be helping the declarer there. And of course, all we do is knock out the king clubs. And notice the Queen Jack 10 is beautiful, isn't it? Is beautiful. So we start, we got tricks coming out of our ears at that point. Maybe they'd duck the first time to keep us off, and then we'd play another one. But you can see now that you're in the comfort zone, shall we say. You have 5 tricks in dummy, 2 in yours, 2 in your hand as well. And okay, and a lot of East will probably think, well, I might as well try another heart, so we'll be ending up in over tricks land. And also East has to keep his diamonds, make sure he keeps his 3 diamonds to make sure we don't make all those diamonds as well. So anyway, a nice and comfortable make. Let me just claim it. Well, I'm going to give you 10 tricks for that. In the auction, would we bid 2 hearts? I quite like bidding 2 hearts, I must say. And as I say, I would feel that East would probably lead a heart if you'd bid 2 hearts. With the North hand, your partner's bid 2 clubs. Okay, your partner has bid 2 clubs. Your partner has to have strength somewhere. I don't think he's got the strength in hearts. I mean, he could have ace, queen, jack to 6 clubs and the queen of diamonds, I suppose. So they might be running 5 spades off the top. But I think it's the practical bid, the North hand. Generally, if your opponent's overcall, okay, they are generally going to bid that suit, okay? And as I say, I think I would have bid 2 hearts of the West hand, but they're generally going to bid that suit. Interestingly, if as West I had king, queen to 5 spades and 3 hearts in support, I might not choose to support, because then there's a fair chance my partner might choose to lead something else. Does that make sense? You know, so, you know, if West thought, oh, a spade lead would be great, then why then possibly don't bid 2 hearts, if that makes sense on a hand like it. But here, you've got no reason to think any other lead is better than a heart. So bidding 2 hearts is the normal thing. And of course, North has got the double stopper. Okay. Generally, if the opponent's overcall, I focus on their suit, because most of the time it will be correct for the opponents to lead their suit. And if they start leading other things, it will help us. So with the North hand there, North is saying, I've got the hearts covered. Most of the time, they're going to lead hearts. I'm bidding 3 no trumps. Don't mind 2 no trumps with the North hand either. Okay. So again, I mean, one of the keys on that hand is that 10 of club. Well, both of the 10s came in very, very handy there. Now, they won't always do that. So for me, in essence, because of the way the play plan panned out, the 2 10s were actually probably worth 2 points, if that makes sense. But on another hand, the 10s won't be worth anything. But on average, if you've got 2 10s with other honours, one of them will be worth something. And that is why I want you to be upgrading for your 10s in company, as it were, when they're with another honour. Okay, so it's important to remember that. Okay, couple of things before I do the tip then. We've got our Christmas events. I don't know, have I got the holiday up here? No, I've just got the holiday. We're going to put a bit of festive cheer on the pages soon. So lots of events to look through. Do go to the holiday website. Obviously, we've got all our cruises, which we're excited about in 2022. And we're doing Christmas at Denham. Will and Sylvia were doing that. I do the New Year there. And we're also doing Christmas with Lynn Hilton up in the Old Barn. And of course, we go through to the New Year. So we have the event at Twixmas. That's the middle event, which I do at Denham. And then I do the New Year at Denham. So Denham Grove is in Buckinghamshire, near just to the wing, outside the wing of the M25. And the Old Barn is in Grantham in Lincolnshire, and they've got a Twixmas event and a New Year event as well, and that's with Elaine. A little bit smaller, the events up in the Old Barn. I say a little bit smaller, a lot smaller. They're what we call house parties. They've got between 32 and 40 people there. We tend to have a full house down. Well, I hope we'll have a full house. We'll see. There's lots of things to think. There's plenty of room for Christmas. I will say already that New Year is getting rather busy. So the New Year event at Denham is getting full up. So if you are interested in that, you'll need to start getting a little bit more excited. And I am looking to do other things. I know there's been I felt, oh sorry, I haven't come back to me. I sort of felt early on that I wouldn't launch too many events because, do you know, I will be so glad when I've done one of them. Does that make sense? So I'm looking forward to October, the first one I'm doing, and once I've done it, there'll be a great sense of relief. And I think for everybody, obviously, once we know we can do it, I'm pretty sure, I mean, we all feel that if things aren't back by October, something's gone horribly wrong. But once we get to doing them again, we will be so happy and so relieved, and it's going to be exciting, I have to say. So it'll be fun. Someone asking if you can be day guests. At most of our events, you can be day guests. The festive season, not. I think we do allow it, but it's unusual. But yeah, most of the events we run, you can be day guests, and we have a different TAF. We don't necessarily. I think you can actually get the TAF online. I think, but you can always phone us. Don't forget, you can always phone us. Okay, let's have a look at. I think I'm looking at back here. Let's go. Oh no, I was going to say that I nearly forgot the prize winner. Let's do it now. Peter King. Peter King was our prize winner this time. And our prize teams are on the 23rd of June, I think. Is that right? Let me have a quick turn to my thing. Is it? I think it is, yeah, 23rd of June. That will be the end of year teams, as it were. So well done to Peter King. You'll be on the other table, not on the home table. You'll be in seat 3 or 4. Okay, so the tip of the day, sticking with the theme, against a suit contract, okay, against a suit contract, without an obvious lead, try leading trumps, okay. Now, I've said except with a singleton, and I mean that. So with a singleton trump, don't tend to lead it. Now, a lot of you more experienced players will know this already, but I'm generally talking to novices here. Last week's prize winner, I've got that as well. I have got last week's prize winner, Jenny. You're absolutely right. Helen might be able to dig it out, so hopefully she'll put that up, and then I can announce that as well, and then I can tell them which seats they're in. Thanks, Jenny. Hopefully we can dig that out. So try leading trumps except with a singleton. So what do I mean here? So as a novice, okay, you're a novice. A lot of the time we get taught basic leads, and we get taught to lead our longer suit or lead our shorter suit because it is the straightforward thing to do. You understand why. You understand why. Okay, so you know, you lead a long suit against no trumps because you're trying to make trumps. If you lead you lead a short suit against a suit contract to try and get a ruff. Okay, Brian, they're mentioning you don't often lead from a 4-card trump suit. Of course, you don't lead from 4 compromise trumps. So if you had something like king to 4 or queen to 4, well, king to 4 you might still lead from. 4 small, you'd lead from a lot. Okay, so it's only if you've got a compromisable holding something like queen 10 or king 10. If you've got king 5, 4, 3 in trumps, you'll probably still lead a small one for the most part, but particularly when you've got 4 small. Small. But the most okay, so it's all right. There was a change of prize winner. They got a bit of a shock. Okay, so leading from 4 small is fine. The key is I want it to be in your armory. So as a novice, do try leading trumps sometimes, particularly when you look at each of the suits and you don't know what to do. You don't need to know why it works, but often it will be safe, and this is what we call safe. And so now it's possible that newer techniques in teaching, because we generally teach duplicate bridge now, you may get taught about trump leads. But traditionally, generally beginners were never taught about trumps because it was quite a difficult concept. And so it's understandable. The reason we don't get taught, we don't get taught, I talked about another concept where a jump rebid to the 3 level actually promises 19 points rather than 16 kind of thing. It's a complicated thing. So as beginners, you won't get taught it. So generally, understanding why trump leads are right isn't easy. But I want you, particularly, I mean, I know most of you experienced club players will have it in your armory, but I want you as a novice to be able to understand that the trump lead can be as good as any other lead and often better. And I don't want you just doing it willy-nilly, but look here. Well, let's look at a simple example. 1 spade, 3 spades, 4 spades. So 1 spade, 3 spades, 4 spades. And it's your lead. And hopefully, when you're considering a lead here, okay, you're looking at you're thinking, well, a club might be okay, I suppose, but I don't know. A diamond, I'm not really sure what to lead. Now, so whenever you're thinking, I'm not really sure what to lead, I want you to consider leading spade. So do not feel it's the worst lead, you know, as I say. So sometimes a novice will not even consider it. So it's really important. If no other suit lead stands out, then consider trump. So I'm not leading a trump because it's going to draw trumps or anything like that. I'm leading it because it's a relatively passive lead. You know, so if I had king queen to 4 clubs here, king queen 9 to 4, I may well lead the king of clubs to try and develop a club trick, okay, or 2. Okay, but because the honours are separate, we don't like leading those. So here it's really important to try and bring it into your armory as early as you can. I don't mind if you lead the 6 or the 5 here. Okay, but it's really important to learn that a trump lead is an option. Okay. All right. Now, there are times when you've got trumps, lengthening trumps, that you might choose to force. Okay, so remember, don't get me wrong, if you've got a strong suit, you're going to be leading something else. Someone's saying that. The key here is what we're really talking about here is when, you know, when you're leading, when you don't feel any lead stands out, that's when you tend to lead a trump. Okay, so you know, as you get better, you think of other reasons for leading trumps. Of course, we listen to the auction, we do all sorts of things. Here, the auction wasn't particularly demanding a trump lead, but my hand was. Okay, and of course, I've set the hand, as you know. I'm sure I will set the hand in such a way that that probably any lead will cost you. So if you lead the ace of hearts, south makes the king and queen. If you lead a diamond, the chances are if you lead a low diamond, it's going to run around to the jack. If you lead a club, it's a disaster area at trick 1. And actually, as you play more and more bridge, you realise that your main aim on lead is to avoid giving a trick away. And that's what a trump does here. No surprise, the opponents have lots of strength in trumps. And actually, they're likely to lose a trick in every suit. I think De Clara probably, I mean, I suppose if De Clara knew where every card is, he might be able to end play us. But I think De Clara would draw trumps, play a diamond to the jack at some point, lose to the queen. We'd lead a diamond back. He'll then probably play a heart to the king. We'd win that and he'd end up losing 2 hearts, a diamond and a club, because he would play the suits himself. Can you see that? So as long as we let De Clara do it. And it's amazing how powerful that is. And again, it's a really difficult concept when we start bridge, because when we start bridge, we desperately want to make tricks. We want to do things. Whereas actually, as you can see here, what you need to do here is just let De Clara do things. And of course, De Clara probably will. But the tip, as I say, the tip of the day is when there's no lead that stands out to you, consider a trump lead. Okay, do not be anti-trump leads, because a lot of people, when they start, don't even have it on their list, and because they don't consider it, they end up having to lead away from these risky holdings. Remember, we've said over a number of times, when you lead from a suit with just 1 honour, you're taking a relative risk, unless of course your partner's managed to make a bid at some point. Okay, so a trump is safe, and I think De Clara is likely to go down. As it happens, De Clara's got a lot of strength. I suppose South might have even gone for another bid. I overbid in my team's game gratuitously on one hand and deserved to go down in a slam on it. But certainly I did have plenty of points. Those of you who didn't have a chance to see the teams last Wednesday, it was my birthday teams, although my birthday I think was the day after, but I was certainly given a lot of points compared to the week before. So if you want to see some action, you'll see it there. Okay, so that's the end of that, and that pretty much sums up what we're going to talk about. Hopefully we're going to have a good week. We've certainly enjoying some better weather anyway. So let's have a little look. Oh, sorry, we had Helen, we had another winner. It's Peter King and Tom, I think. Peter King and Tom, and I've got a 4 and a 3 here, and I'm going to shuffle them up, and the one in my hand now is going to be Peter, so he'll be number 3, and Tim Potter will be number 4. Okay, so they're sitting, number 3 is north, south, and number 4 is East West on the team away from me. Okay, so I'll try to remember which is which. I can't. So, anyway, let's look at the bidding quiz. Let's put the bidding quiz up there before we forget. Now, what you're going to find is, and you'd have seen this on 49, is the next 12 quizzes by request. A number of you requested, because I've got a novice quiz now on the site. What we're doing is looking at parts of the advanced BNB system and making sure we're happy with how they work. Okay, so here, for example, your partner has made a landy bid. So it's gone 1 no trump, 2 clubs landy by your partner. So you have agreed to play landy. And so landy, of course, is 2 clubs showing both majors. Okay, so don't worry if you've never played it before. Obviously, I'll explain the answer, but if you have, hopefully you can come up with your answer. Okay, so over the next sort of 12 bidding quizzes on the Monday, you'll be seeing some aspects of system coming in, of not so much basic, but system, and hopefully that'll help you. So thanks for your company today. Don't forget, as usual with the bidding quiz, you can see the answer on the site, whether you're a member or a non-member. So thanks for your company, and we will see you next week, or maybe on the Wednesday Teams, or even on the Friday when we are talking about competing in a way, dealing with those nasty overcalls. Thank you very much.